good morning. Here I am with another video. And guess what? It's another video for speaker repair, and it is woofer surround. I don't know how many videos I've done on this before, but here we go again. For those that can't get enough of this sort of thing. The other day I picked up an estate sale entire JVC stereo system with a turntable, transcription turntable, and a nice receiver, and these pair of speakers. It's too bad I did not make a video on the turntable repair because it was a nightmare. I was halfway through it before I realized it might have made an interesting video. It had everything wrong with it, including probably a pint of oil. I don't know how they thought it was going to fix anything, but when I lifted the turntable mat, there was oil everywhere. So because the turntable didn't move, the actual bearing was seized. I think somebody must have said, well, put a little oil in there, that'll free things up. Well, where they put the oil is nowhere near where the bearing was, and it just saturated everything. It took about 5 sheets of paper towel, and I don't know how much methyl hydrate to clean it all off. But it's done. I can show it to you complete and finished, but I know people come to these videos wanting to see how things are done. So this is what I've got left to do on the system, and once I can peel off the grill, they're nice little speakers. Actually, even though I think you can see the damage, let's zero in on this a bit. You see that is torn right off. If you just touch, you can see it's perished. Even so, I hooked it up and ran it, and has a nice sound. It's a ported system. When I get the woofer out, I'll show you exactly what how they've managed to do the port. So let me find a nut driver, and I'll undo the 4 large screws, and they're robust, not bad at all. Now I have ordered specific adhesive to use with speaker repair, but it hasn't arrived yet. And previously I've used like a contact cement. Okay, there's the woofer out, and the speakers are clipped. You can see it has a nice magnet structure. 8 ohms, maximum 80 watts. So they should toot along nicely. Now if I can get to show how the port is hooked up, I'm not sure whether it shows with the lights. Let's see if I can put some more lighting on it. Even then it's not really going to show. I can see it, but I don't know whether you can. At any rate, the port goes in there, but it takes a 90-degree turn. Oh, maybe that shows a bit. You can see the edge of the cardboard tube. So they mitered a tube, a hollow tube, so that it actually faces the woofer. Now, it's the first time I've seen that kind of a situation, so I don't know how it improves the design. We'll find out how well it works when I get the cones done. So I'll put this aside, try not to trip on it, and it just so happens that I have a couple of replacement, they're foam, they're not anything too special, but they'll do. Okay, now the trick is to get this cut out. Just use an X-Acto knife, X-Acto knife? No, that's not a turb anymore. Box cutter. That's what we call them now. And cut the... I'm not sure whether I can get that frame off. Oh, I can. Whoop! Didn't break it? Nope. Alright, I got that off. You sort of need that. Let's tilt this down a little bit. Okay. You need that off in order to put the new one on. There's a pair of surrounds here. I'll separate one. And as you can see, it needs to go right to the edge. So it needs to be underneath that. That will fit nicely. So the trick is, and I've done it many times, it's not rocket science. Cut this case, oh, it just peels right away. Look at that, how easily that comes away. Oh, wow. The vacuum's going to be put into use because it's just shredding all over the place. Yeah. Okay. Now it's left a pretty clean edge of the cone to adhere the new surround on. It's a bit of a mess underneath. I don't think I'll play too much with that. I don't want to damage. See, right now the only thing that's holding it is the spider that's inside here. I don't know whether you can see that, but anybody that's taken a speaker apart knows modern speakers have those, they call them spiders because the original speaker design had a flexible phenolic or whatever piece that was adhered to the inside of the voice coil, and then it was bolted to the actual pole piece. And it really looked like those 45 adapters that you put on an individual 45 RPM record to be able to stack them or play them on a record player that doesn't have the big hole device for holding a 45. They look very much like that, and they looked a bit like a spider, I guess, so they call them spider. So now all of those things, they don't look like a spider, but they're called a spider. Okay, now positioning the new one on. Oh well, before I do that, let me see if I can, pardon me if I go a little off. Actually, you know, I might be better by softening things with a little methyl hydrate. Oh! Let's see if I can get see if that'll soften it a bit and get it off. I'd rather glue the new one. Yeah, it does. Okay. Let me get this saturated. I think I'll have to let it sit for a bit and soften it, and then it'll scrape off. We hope. Methyl hydrate. Yeah, don't smoke around it, for those of you who still smoke. Alright. Messy. Messy job. It's leaving the original adhesive and just taking the foam away. But I think I can live with that. Nice mess. And of course, when you're doing this, it's a good idea to take precautions not to damage the cone. I sort of like doing these. They're not complicated technologically. What I don't want to do is let this slip and slice a digit, meaning my finger. Alright, let me put a little more on. Alright, I think I'll put this on pause, go get the other woofer out, and give this a chance to soak in a bit, and then I'll come back. Okay, hang on a bit. Okay, I'm back. Both the surrounds have taken to the cone, and that's fine. So while I was off camera, I got this one with it. And what I'm using is contact cement. I don't think I mentioned that before. So it's kind of scary to work with that if it starts to dry. Now, while it's still movable, what I did was hold it up and give it the old thump and the old push. No rubbing, so everything is fine. Should be alright. Be interesting to see how they sound with the new surrounds. I don't know whether they're more pliable than the original ones. Don't know. I didn't bother trying to determine free air resonance with them before. And if you can see, the edges are not precise in centering in the basket, and that's because when I was gluing it on, I didn't get it precise. You can see, if you can, the gap between that first rib and the edge of the surround is about a 1/16, and that's closer to an 1/8 on that side, so it puts it a little off center. I don't anticipate any problems. I mean, who's perfect when you're doing these things? The most important thing is that the voice coil does not rub, and it doesn't. Now, I'm about to do the same with this one. However, I've run out of adhesive, okay? It's just good old contact cement. So I will have to put it all aside until I can get into town and buy another tube of this. I don't think I've got one. I'll have a look and see. I believe I only have one. At any rate, so we'll put this on hold again, and we'll be back. Okay, I'm back for a little test. Here is one of the woofers that I managed to get finished, or at least up to this point, where the new surround is both adhered to the cone and adhered to the basket. So it's ready to go except for the ring that has to be adhered to it. I still haven't got any more contact cement, so that's coming. But I thought I would test the free air resonance. Now, I didn't test it before I replaced these things. I suppose I could have, even though the surrounds were damaged. But this is my setup here. What I've got is the woofer. Okay. And I have, as well as the amplifier, hooked up to it. But the amplifier is hooked up through that resistor. Okay, I think it's 10 ohms. I'm not sure. But it really doesn't matter. It needs to be big enough so that you can get a reading. And my multimeter is also hooked up, and it's down here. Okay, now I have my signal generator, audio signal generator. If I can show that, that shows up. Right now it's off. And the output of it is feeding into my test amp, and my test amp, bench test amp, is now feeding out to the speaker. Okay, so I will turn it on. Alright, and I've done a cheat here. I already have established what the resonant frequency is, but what we have here is the multipliers. Alright, so it's set at 1, and this is set at 40, and this is the digit, okay, it's 43, and that is the point of a multiplier, point of a hertz, and it's down at 0. Okay, so what you do is you, let's go down. You can see that the cone is vibrating wonderfully, or can you? It's going, okay? And then you look at the meter, all right, and I won't show that, but I will scoot up to 40 hertz, and there's the AC voltage. Now it's AC across that because you're measuring the signal that goes through. All right, 2.238 volts, and what you're looking for is a peak of the voltage across the woofer. You could take the peak of the voltage across the resistor, but it's the inverse. So right now I have it hooked up to the woofer, and I will, at 40 hertz, I'm getting 2.239. So I'm now up to 41, 2.26, 2.83 at 42 hertz, 2.87 at 43. At 44 it drops down, so we've missed our peak. So I'll go back to 43 hertz, and my meter's going to shut off. That's always handy. And then I will increase incrementally the 10th. Okay, and it's going down. Okay, basically, if I go up to 44, no, you see it's going down. All right, so we're at basically 43. No. Okay, flat out at 4 and 3. 43 hertz is the resonant frequency, or close thereof. That's pretty good for this 8-inch driver. I like that a lot. So I'll turn this off before the woofer gets fractured. At any rate, and so my meter dies. Oh, that's so handy. At any rate, we've established that it's 43 hertz is the resonant frequency, free air. And if you understand why I say free air and I'm hanging it from a bungee cord, that's about as free air as I can get. So there's no interference from any other, or at least little interference. The scope is pretty close. It's about, I don't know, 6-8 inches away. At any rate, so that's my little lesson for me and for you guys on how to measure free air resonance. All right, like I said at the start, I'm still waiting for my contact cement to come in to finish things off. I'll just show, this is the ring that goes on. Let's back that off. Okay, that goes on the woofer. Okay, and it has to be glued on because now this one, the surround has not been adhered to the basket, but at any rate there is some wiggle room, and you have to make sure that there's no interference around the edge for the surround to rub up against the this flange, this surround, whatever it is. Okay, so I'm looking quite forward to testing this out once they're both done and they're back in their little homes, and just see how great the manufacturers have made an 8-inch driver in a modestly sized box. That's it there. Okay, that's one of them. Anyhow, so I'll be back. It's going to be another day before I can pick up the contact cement. All right, I still haven't received the proper speaker cement, but I don't think it matters for this. This is fine. All right, we'll see you tomorrow maybe? Okay, take care. Okay, finally I'm back. Managed to get more heavy-duty contact cement. Still haven't received the actual speaker adhesive that I ordered, oh, I don't know, a few weeks ago. Anyhow, but pardon me, by the time I get it, I won't need it anymore. Okay, both, this is the last one I did it off camera. It's no rubbing, same with that one. Nice and good. Nice and good? Okay. So now I have to put these shrouds on them, whatever you want to call them. And I'll orient them with the connectors for the voice coil up top. And they have to sit there. And there's room to play. So basically I just have to get the adhesive where I want it. And I'm not sure whether the best thing is to put it on the edge of the basket or what. Everything's trial and error. I think I'm going to do that. Put it on the basket. And I probably need a fair bit to go around. I should really dedicate a paintbrush, maybe a Q-tip. Because this is what holds it in place. Friction or pressure from the screws might be enough, but the manufacturer had put adhesive on it, which I had a devil of a time, I don't mind telling you, getting off. Whether I actually needed it off or not, I don't know. I'm trying not to get this on my fingers, because as you know, it will go everywhere where you don't want it. Just enough to contact this shroud, whatever you want to call it. I hate to get this far into a project and then screw something up. Whoops. Getting a bit of lot. I'm getting a lot, not a little bit. Alright. This adhesive, this contact cement, is clear, so it's hard to say. Alright, there's the connectors there. I shall place this directly over it. And I brought some spring clips from the shop to hold it in place. Now before I get too much farther, gee, that looks pretty good. What I'm looking for is an even gap around the this frame to not interfere with the surround, and it looks not too bad. I don't think it really will anyhow. I'm just being super cautious. Alright, now that, nothing is rubbing, so that's one done. That was easy. Now we come up with the next one. That was the original one I did on camera, and I shall do the same, putting the contact cement there. Of course this will have to sit, oh I don't know, for maybe an hour anyhow before I can handle it. And then I can put it put them both back in the cabinets and try it out. I did run both speakers before I started this, and crossovers and the tweeters seem to be fine, so I don't have to worry. Now I do have crossovers, believe it or not. I have two two-way crossover networks and two speakers, two tweeters earmarked for another project that I could turn around and use in this if I had to. But it looks most likely I don't have to. Alright, done. Now, where is the... Alright, the connections are at the 12 o'clock position. I shall place this thusly, get a relatively even gap. It's a little close, a little tight, but I don't think it's a problem. Alright, well that was easy. Famous last words. Alright, the gap is even. Now I have to let it cure for a bit. So again, put everybody on pause. You're getting used to it by now. And I'll come back in a couple of hours. I've got some other projects to put up here, some customer units actually. And we'll see how it turns out. Alright, see you soon. Okay, well, everything's done. The woofers are mounted in. The speaker phasing has been checked and it's fine. And I've got some copyright-free music queued up. And we'll just play for a bit. Okay, enough of that. Probably hard to discern how good they sound or bad they sound with just the mic from the camcorder hooked up. I'm surprised the bass is very good, especially when they're mounted on the bench here, or sitting on the bench. That's not the best environment for bass propagation. But the bass sounds very solid and deep, and I'm impressed. They sound pretty good. There must be something to the way that JVC has the port. I think I showed you that it's bent at a 90 degrees and the port is actually just an inch or two behind the woofer. And if that's responsible for its rather extraordinary bass, I don't know. But it is. So I'm quite pleased. Everything works out fine. I've got both grills for them. I'm not quite sure what I'll do with them. The cabinet needs a little bit of cleaning up. And both grills are in great shape. So I think I mentioned before that the speakers came with a JVC receiver and with a JVC turntable as a package from a sort of like an estate sale that I picked up last Sunday, I guess. So I've been working on all three ever since. And not quite sure what I'll do. Maybe they'll go with the receiver and sell that somehow. I don't know. Anyhow, I've had a good bit of fun getting these surrounds replaced on it. And so there you go. So that's the last part of this one. I won't be showing any more videos on this particular project. So thanks for watching and have a good day. What's left of it.